Hello, everybody. Back here again with another vlog a day. And today is Wednesday, the 12th, and today was a lovely, beautiful day to be alive. Got up this morning a little later than I usually get up, but still fairly early. Kind of got around real quietly and quickly. Got on my running gear, headed up to the running track, got my run in, got back down. On the way down, I grabbed my juice and grabbed my wife a juice as well. From there, got back to the room, grabbed myself a shower. My lovely bride got up, and she finally got around and all the good fun stuff there. So when she was around and moving, we decided to head down and grab some breakfast. We stopped by the galley, went ahead and ordered our food. As we were ordering our food, another gentleman had sat down at the table next to us, and he'd ordered right before we ordered, kind of thing. So as my wife making her decision, that man ordered. And then no big deal, we went on, we ordered our food, and like 21 minutes later, food showed up to our table, and I was like, this isn't our order. And the guy like kind of dropped it off and left. And it's one of those things where I could tell when he was taking the order he wasn't. He's one of the less good crew members. This ship doesn't have it. The Scarlet Lady, Virgin Cruise Line, has better staff than the Valiant Lady does. Don't know if it's management, don't know if it's just that ship was first, so they had the best pick of the cruise industry, of all the best employees, and this ship got second. I don't know what happened here, but it is what it is. So he doesn't seem as pleasant, he doesn't seem as attentive, he doesn't seem like he listens as well. A bunch of things. We've dealt with him a couple times now, dealing with the orders, same person. So he walks up and basically sets down the food. And I explained to him, I'm like, nope, this is not our food. And the people who bring the food is not the person who takes your order. So I'm like, this is not our food. And it was clearly not our food. It was like extra bacon, extra sausage, 2 eggs, and an English muffin. And my wife had ordered an omelet. I ordered 2 eggs over easy and sausage. She ordered bacon, which would have been just, not extra bacon. It was on a giant pile of bacon. And mine would have been sausage. I don't remember her ordering a English muffin at all, but she seemed to think that she did. And she's telling me, no, that's our food. They just combined them onto one plate. I'm like, nope, not our food. And I'm like, there's a lot of things here missing. There's a lot of things not missing. And they're like, what's missing? We told them the omelet, just a lot of things. So my hash browns, all kinds of stuff. So she was like, oh, they went and they grabbed her a omelet real quick and came back, and they basically were like, you can see they're going to throw us away, and back and forth, and they're like, I'm like, are you going to throw us away? I said, whoever ordered this is missing this. They're wanting it. And they kept saying, no, it's this table number. And I could tell at that moment they were going to push that into the trash because they didn't know where it went. And it was marked for the wrong one. I said, just leave it here. We'll eat what we can of it, bring her other stuff, and go from there. So basically, we had her an omelet real quick. They just grabbed her a cheese omelet, whatever, to kind of get there. And then eventually my hash browns show up. But at this point, my eggs and stuff are getting cold because by the time I get the hash browns, which again doesn't make sense, there's a giant venom over there. Walk over and grab it. But they bring it to us. We basically start eating. The eggs are hard, not runny, which over easy is runny. And I'm like, whatever. I'm still in my head going, this is not our breakfast. I know it's not, but whatever. So we're eating away, and then the hill behind us, the gentleman next to us had some other people show up and join his table, which I wasn't certain if he'd ordered before or not. Didn't know. They ordered. I didn't really listen too much what was going on. And then another probably 20 minutes goes by, not quite. I finally got my hash brown. My wife got her omelet, and we start eating our breakfast, and we're eating away. And sure enough, that gentleman finally flags down somebody and says, hey, I ordered before these ladies at my table joined me, and they have their food and they're eating, and I ordered mine well before them, but he did probably 10 minutes before them, and waiting for them to get there, and nobody has brought my food yet. And I'm like, oh, son of a bitch. I'm like, we have your food. And right at that moment, as they're trying to figure out where his food went, our food shows up. I'm like, well, there's our order, which now makes it like 41 minutes since we ordered, and we now finally have our actual food brought to us. And I looked at my wife and I said, see, told you that was our food. I'm like, they gave us your food, we ate it, we're sorry, you can have our food if you want, type thing. And we're looking at people, and they're like they're more forcefully trying to give us the food that we ordered, which is not the food, which is the food we wanted. But it's now 41 minutes later, and we're virtually done eating the food that we didn't order that they gave us. That was that gentleman's food, and that they were insisting was ours because the table number matched. Because apparently we made the mistake of setting the wrong table, not the gentleman who took our order made the mistake of writing down the wrong table, but or punching it in the computer because it's all computer controlled shit. So that gentleman now, I have no idea what he did. I don't know if he ate our food or not because we were done at that time and we got up and we left. So we headed back to the room, grabbed our stuff we needed. It was time to debark the ship. So we basically got off the ship. We walked around. We had no actual tour plans. Some of the stuff we want to do is already sold out, and it is what it is. So yeah, Virgin doesn't. They need to open up more tours options and stuff, but I think they have the ones they want. They trust 100%, and they get their kickback from, and they'll find somebody who's like normally gives like a $40 tour to do what they're going to do. Virgin will pay them probably $30, and then Virgin will charge us $90. So gives them extra cash. With that requirement also is set up that if the tour does not get us back in time, they hold the ship or they pay to ship us to the next port, which Virgin has to make a profit on each one in order to run that risk. So we get off the boat, we walk down the port, we see a sea turtle, awesome, really cool. You don't see sea turtles too often. We see them a little bit up home, but not too often. So we got to watch the sea turtles swim around, had a good time there. Wandered around the little port area, the little old town city. It's not really a port really there. It's a dock. It's all there is. There's not much going on. So we basically wandered around the city a little bit right there, and wasn't really sure. Asked a few people like, hey, we knew there's a botanical garden tour we thought about taking through Virgin, but it was leaving too early that I didn't think my wife would want to get up and make it to that tour on time. So went ahead and said, we'll just find our own way over there. And then people had said, oh yeah, you can just walk down here, it's down here, and it's within walking distance and whatever. I'm like, okay, cool. So I said, hey, let's go down past the fish market, then down past this, and down past that, and you'll get there. So we head down, and we kind of do some shopping, looking around a couple shops stuff, found a really cool little art gallery, whatnot. We actually, as we were walking around, we found an expat working at a restaurant right there, and basically he told us the same thing. Yeah, go down here, but once you go down there, basically come back up Queen Street and stuff, and you'll kind of hit some other shops and stuff on that walk. And I'm like, okay, cool. So we start walking, and we basically walk the coastline because it's a gorgeous view. It's really interesting. You get to see a lot more of like the local housing and how people are living and stuff, and kind of just the trash, unfortunately, of all these places. It's just, there's always trash everywhere, and it just sucks so much. But just cool places. And you're walking along, you're looking at like these dilapidated, rundown local houses, and then you step up onto a 5-star resort that somebody bought from, most likely, the United States, remodeled, and now charges probably as much for a week as the average family makes here in a year. And then it is what it is. And I'm like, there's part of me is like, you guys are making all this money at these resorts and stuff, and a lot of you are making a lot of money, you can tell. Pay the locals to clean up the mess, clean up the trash and stuff. And then I think, well, maybe they like it that way because it makes their place look that much nicer when, as you're driving there or wandering around the area, you're seeing all the trash, and you're like, oh, look how much work it must be for them to keep this place. That's why we pay, $5,000 a week or whatever we're paying for these places. So, but we wandered around, ended up out on a nice, long, beautiful stretch of just gorgeous water, beautiful beaches, and great time. Ended up, kind of started feeling like we were like out too far. Like we should have seen the botanical garden by now, like if we were going to see this the way they described it. And we've had 3 people now tell us it was this direction, and there's nothing really there. So I turned around the corners, I look down, like there's nothing else here. Like there's nothing, like it's not here. So I stop into one of the fancy resorts and ask them about it, and they tell me, oh no, it's way over here past the police station, way down Center Drive, and it's like it's way away. And I'm like, okay, well, I've had 3 separate people give us virtually exact same information that makes me feel like something ain't right. But I said, okay, it was not that long to walk. It was a couple miles, maybe whatever, 3 miles, whatever. So I said, hey, how would we go about getting a taxi here? And he's like, well, you can call these numbers. Gives me a little tiny printout sheet of paper he's cut up in like not quite business card size. And I'm like, well, I have no cell phone in the area and stuff, which I think I could have turned Verizon on. I would have worked in the Virgin Islands, but it's a U.S. territory. But I didn't check before I left, so I didn't want to mess with it. So I'm like, is there any chance you can call for me? And he's like, 100%. So he basically calls the first person, thought he was calling a different person, and that person seemed offended that he asked for the other person's name. So wasn't willing to come pick us up at the resort. So He called the next lady. She was happy. He said she'd be there in 15 minutes. And he said, if it says 15, it should be 15. She's very reliable, yada, yada. So 20 minutes roll by, and nothing yet. And all while we're waiting, another taxi minivan drops off some people at the resort. So we asked that gentleman how much to take us to Botanical Garden. And he basically tells us it's going to be like $40 each or something. Like he's like, oh, it's an exclusive ride type thing. And I'm like, you're a taxi. You're here already. We have somebody coming from across the island to us. This was literally minutes after getting off the phone with the lady who got ordered to come over and pick us up. So this was 3 minutes in, 5 minutes into my wait. And I was like, no, I'll wait. Because now I'm going to feel bad if I do leave, because that lady's going to drive all the way across the island or wherever she's from. And then she's going to have to, like, wander around. She wasted her trip over here for nothing. So I'm like, plus the guy felt like he was ripping us off at $40. I'm like, no, you can go away. So I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. So I'm like, I told the guy to go on. I'm like, I will walk back to the ship. I'll rent a car and come get you if that's what it has to be. Then you can walk before I pay this man that price for the exclusive ride. That's just bullshit. So we wait there. The lady finally shows up. She's about 20 minutes. Not a big deal. Super nice. We hop in the cab, ask her how much to get to the Botanical Garden, and she kind of gives me that whole, 10 cents each way. I'm like, no, really, how much is it? Like, I want to know before we move, because if you tell me it's $100, I'm going to walk, kind of thing and stuff in my head. And she told me $15 each. I'm like, okay, it's way better than $40 each. Right? I'm like, fuck it. So we get in the taxi with her. We basically head over. She's chatting it up. She's nice. She's kind. And then she's telling me she wants to know what time to pick me back up, how I'm going to get back to the boat. And I'm like, I'll walk if I need to. I'll get a cab. I'll get something. She goes, oh, no, I can't sleep. I don't feel confident if I don't take, I'm like, well, we have no phones. We can't call you. So we can't get you. Plus, she wants the other $30 from us to deliver us back to the port, kind of thing, for the 4.5, mile drive, where the hell this thing is, 5 mile drive, whatever it is. But we don't have any reasoners. So went ahead, said held it. We got dropped off at the Botanical Garden, paid her $20 to get into the Botanical Garden, wandered around inside there for a while. They give you a little crappy map, and it's not, we never did find stuff. We talked to other people there. There's things they couldn't find on the map either. It was really poorly laid out, and there was a lot of weirdness. There was also somebody had a giant Newfoundland dog on one of the trails out in the garden there that was like barking its ass off, and like kind of that scared, aggressive barking kind of thing, and it made me a little nervous. We had to kind of basically chase it down the trail and kind of be a little bit aggressive towards it to make sure it wasn't coming at us. So yeah, we went through, got down there. We talked to some other guys from our same ship that were on the our cruise line, and they had wandered over just like we did on their own. And they had a lady coming to pick them up in a van. And I said, hey, do you think she would, is there room for others? He goes, well, I don't think she'd mind as long as there's room. So instead of calling the other lady or trying to call the other lady, find a way to do it, I said, hell, that we waited for that taxi to show up, and they charged us $12 each. Then they're already going to ride along with them. So the 5 of us rode back over in her van, and you figure, I think she was charging them $15 each person. So she made $45. So she made $69 for a probably 15-minute ride. So not doing too bad. But there was probably like wanted to say like, well, you're already going 100% real cost, no extra fuel. Isn't $5 enough? But yeah, I didn't. I just paid the $24. I didn't care. So went ahead and got that done. We got dropped back off in the Old Town shopping area. So we wandered around a few little shops there. Had a decent little time. Walked down to the beach, saw some water, saw some more little animals and stuff. Had a good little, nice little, just enjoying the sun. Went back to the ship a little bit earlier than a lot of people did, and hung out on the ship for a while. Ended up grabbing ourselves a couple drinks, hanging around. They had an exclusive free drinks up on the perch, so we knocked that out for one of our packages we bought. I think this is a Splash of Romance package we got, or Deep Blue, I'm not sure which one it was. But went there, had some free drinks and stuff, listened to a guitarist singing and strum, and then basically from there we headed down to the wake for dinner. Ended up meeting a young newlywed couple. We chatted with them for a while and stuff, talking about just whatever. They're out of Minnesota. And then we headed up back to we got out of there, we headed up, running around. My wife decided she wanted pretzels. We headed down to get a pretzel, and they were not open yet. So it's we'll be open in like 21 minutes, or 19 minutes they were going to be open. So I was like, okay, no, 21 minutes, 20 minutes going to be open. So we basically like, okay, I said, well, I don't want to wait around long. I don't really need a pretzel, but I'm going to head upstairs and have a cigar. So I took off, head upstairs and had a cigar, and we bumped into some friends of ours who were trying to teach us some new weird dice game thing. I don't know what it's called, Ward Tide or something. I don't know what it is. But it's like a 20-minute game, and I'm like, I don't want to waste so much time. I want to go up and smoke cigars so I can get a cigar in before the show and that. and they're like, no big deal. So went ahead and we were like, no problem. They basically, before the drink show. So my wife stayed and played the game for a little bit, and she was losing. The other two guys were kicking our butt. So we had a good time there. Went upstairs, got myself a nice little cigarium. We checked out the show we had, what was it called? We did Misbehaving again. So we went to the Misbehaving show again. Had a good time with it, a lot of fun. And then while waiting for that, I had another Facebook member that saw me post about being up on deck and smoking a cigar. She came up and chatted with us. Nicholas, I can't remember his name is. The guy we bumped into at dinner, he came up there and he was smoking a cigar, and we chatted a little bit and basically talked a little while. I went down and checked out the show again. The second time seeing it. It's a good show. It's a fun show. It's a lot of entertainment, a lot of interactions and stuff and whatnot. So we had a good time there. And then from there, we basically got done. We went around the ship a little bit after the show. My wife was exhausted. She was tired. The sun kind of kicked her butt today, I think. So, and we did a lot of walking. And so she headed back to the room, and I headed back upstairs to basically finish the cigar, talk to a few people and whatnot. But nothing real major. So it was kind of lackluster in the evening. But I got back down to the room about 1 a.m., watched a little bit of TV, and then started trying to get some sleep. So that's all I got for right now. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Have yourself a safe, wonderful day. Thanks for watching.